In an interview with Liz, she discusses her second pregnancy, her family life, and an ongoing conflict with Anna, offering a candid and unfiltered look into her current situation. The interview begins with Liz explaining that she is feeling well overall, although she has just come from medical appointments. She emphasizes stability, but avoids portraying an idealized version of pregnancy. At this point, she is a little over 16 weeks pregnant, and she makes it clear that she is still in the middle of the process, rather than reflecting back on it. When asked about how this pregnancy compares to her first, Liz is straightforward. This one has been significantly more difficult. Between weeks 6 and 14, she experienced severe nausea, vomiting, and exhaustion symptoms she did not have during her first pregnancy. She does not dramatize her experience, but she is honest about the physical toll it has taken on her. The contrast between the two pregnancies is sharp. The first was manageable, while the second has been much more demanding. The conversation turns to cravings, but Liz dismisses the idea quickly. She explains that there is no space for cravings when she is constantly trying not to feel sick. In her first pregnancy, she enjoyed sweets and fruits, but this time her focus is simply on eating whatever her body can tolerate. The romanticized idea of pregnancy cravings is replaced with a more clinical and survival-oriented reality. The interviewer then asks about her daughter's reaction to the pregnancy. Liz explains that her daughter does not fully understand what is happening, but she has expressed a desire for a baby brother. She repeats this often, though Liz interprets it as typical childhood behavior rather than a deeply informed preference. Her daughter has also started engaging more with dolls, which Liz sees as a natural developmental stage of imitation and role-playing. When asked whether they know the baby's sex, Liz confirms that they do, but emphasizes that they are keeping it private. No one outside the immediate parents knows, including family members and production teams. This mirrors their approach in a previous pregnancy, where they also kept the baby's sex secret until birth. For Liz, this decision is both personal and strategic, as it helps maintain suspense for the audience while also preserving privacy. Liz also highlights the long-standing relationship with the production crew, noting that many of them have been working with her since she was a teenager. This has created a sense of familiarity and trust, making the filming process less invasive and more like a long-term collaboration than constant surveillance. A major detail revealed is that her delivery will be a scheduled C-section at 37 weeks, set for September 1st. The date carries emotional significance because it coincides with her late grandfather's birthday. While Liz does not overly dramatize this connection, she acknowledges that it adds emotional weight for her family. She shares a light anecdote about how the pregnancy was revealed. Her daughter came in holding a pregnancy test, which immediately made Liz understand the situation. Her father, however, initially misunderstood the situation entirely, even confusing details in a humorous way. Liz presents this moment as reflective of her family's dynamic: direct, imperfect, and often humorous. When asked about the future as a family of 4, Liz focuses not on logistics, but on her daughter's adjustment to becoming a sibling. She describes her daughter as calm and affectionate, and humorously hopes that the new baby will resemble her personality more than the father's. Both she and her partner come from large families, so expanding their household feels like a continuation of a familiar pattern rather than a major disruption. The discussion then shifts to public exposure and media life. Liz reflects on growing up in television from a very young age, which gave her experience but also shielded her from today's intense social media environment. Because of this, she wants to delay her daughter's exposure to technology and public scrutiny for as long as possible. She also mentions that she does not watch the show she participates in, believing that self-viewing leads to self-correction and loss of authenticity. Finally, the conversation addresses the conflict with Anna. Liz states clearly that they are not currently in contact. She explains that Anna chose to step away from the show, and while there is no formal barrier to returning, the situation is more complex on a personal level. She emphasizes that there are two sides to the story: what is seen publicly and what happens within the family, and they do not always align. When asked what it would take to repair the relationship, Liz does not offer a clear answer. She acknowledges distance, lack of regular interaction, and differing perspectives. Time, she suggests, may help, but there are no guarantees.